That was my fault. I do apologize. Oh my gosh. I tried to switch phones and it cut the whole thing. Um, please invite the people that you saw in here earlier. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. Please forgive
God,
me.
I accidentally hit my own button. I thought I did that on my own.
Hey, that's fine. If that's how y'all want to sleep tonight, yeah, y'all did that. That was y'all. Why'd y'all leave the
Yeah.
Zoom? That that was bad. That was so bad. Wow. I've never done that before. It's okay. I learned something new today.
All forgiven.
And she was just about to get started too. I've switched phones before without an issue, so I don't know what's going on tonight.
He got
Yeah,
that
like she said,
listing. He
I'm
got
glad
that
it was you. I
listing.
thought it was me.
Wow, wow, that's crazy. Can we get the speaker back in? Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. I'm so sorry. SAND. I'm literally pulled over on the side of the street, y'all, to get y'all back in here. End up going to jail tonight over the Zoom class. Sandra.
Is she back in?
No, she's not answering the
Okay.
phone. Can you get her?
Okay, let me try.
Wow, I'm so sorry. I'll never do that again. Well, in the meantime, if you know what personality you are, let us know. Let us know. So what I typically do is when I do a Zoom consultation, rather that be in person, rather that be for sellers or buyers, my Zoom presentation has the disc personality in there. It's the last slide. And I love when it's a husband and wife or two partners because I'm able to say, hey, what is this person? How is this person? And then they kind of chuckle, they laugh it off. And, and then we talk about the high volume of it versus the low volume of it. Cause you could be a DI or you could be a SC or you could be a DS, you know what I mean? And it kind of opens up people's minds because a lot of times couples are not even aware of this, and that kind of guides you through the process when you're working with someone throughout the buying and the selling because you're now understanding who's going to be the decision maker, who's going to be the final say, who's going to be the one looking at the homes, those type of stuff. I'm literally about to pull over at this Publix right here. Were you able to get her, Dr. Karen?
No, she's not picking up the driver husband. But I like that, Jeff. Anybody in the chat, uh, put your put what you think your personality profile is. I think I'm dominant. That's probably why I'm not afraid for people to hang up and curse me out. What's your personality profile? Put it in the chat. I got tea, so just give her a minute.
Did you get her?
I got her husband. He's going to tell her to get back on. Only
What
one
happened?
person? I'm not sure what happened.
She went to lunch, dinner.
No, you disconnected.
I know that part, but oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's never happened to me before.
What are some personality profiles here?
Leave
I see
that.
Madam Sonia.
Wow, wow, I cannot believe that. I'm still shocked. I'm still in shock.
So we can't get in touch with her. She's not with her husband, so and she's not picking up her phone.
What do you think happened?
Uh, I hope everything's okay. I have no clue.
So she must be at the office. She must have think the office internet
She's
went out or something.
she's not at the office, and maybe where she's at, because that's not our background. She's not
Oh,
at the office, so I have no clue. Yes, something must have happened because she's not dialing anyone, and no one can call her. So maybe the internet is out.
maybe that wasn't me then. I started to wonder. Wow. Well, the people came for a good time, not a long time. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So the disc personality looks to be where Miss Sandra was going. And has anyone ever taken the assessment before? Has anyone ever heard about the disc personality before? Talk to us, because what we're gonna do is we're going to identify how to really understand why the seller doesn't want to sign, do want to sign, ask more questions, wants to do more research, wants to interview more people. Anyone?
Well,
John,
Nick,
welcome.
before, I just can't remember what my score was. And Jeff, you were there when we did it. I think we did it with Ricole. We had a training session once. I think we did it for NARAB. And Ricole was administering it. I can't remember what. I can't remember.
Got it. So the one that I use in my presentation is like 123disc.com, but there's so many out there. You can just put it into Google. So D's for dominant, okay? D's for dominant, okay? So what dominant? Sometimes people think that it's dominant, like I'm very like bossy type of thing. No, dominant is more like assertive. Okay, like you've ever been working before with a husband and wife, and the gentleman's kind of like laid back, and the lady's kind of in control. It's just that she's just the assertive one when it comes to like the relationship and stuff like that. Okay, and then okay. And then you have your eyes for inquisitive. Okay. Your eye people are people that are going to want to have like a great time. They're going to want to have a great time. They're going to, as long as the numbers make sense, as long as the numbers make sense, they're going to be okay with working with you. Okay. These are the type of people that, hey, let's say, for example, they're referred to you. They don't really care about your acclimates. They don't really care about your background. They don't really care about how many houses you sold. But the mere fact that they were referred to you, the mere fact that you were able to get them to the number that they want, or get them to realize that this is where the market is at, they want to work with you. Okay, then you have your C personality. Okay, your C personality is your research type of person. Okay, they're slow to make decisions. Okay, they're slow to make decisions. They're the C personality. Okay, so they're the person that is, they may want to work with you, but they may want to do some more research. Okay, ooh, yes, yes, yes.
Guys, I want to apologize. I was gone, y'all. I was already on I was already on spreadsheet number 3.
Oh wow, you didn't realize that you had closed the Zoom and kicked us all out?
No. Oh my goodness, guys. I apologize. I apologize. Oh my God.
I'm joking, I'm joking. I hit the wrong button. I closed the Zoom.
Oh.
You got us worried, Sandra. I even started calling you. I'm like, I hope she's okay.
No. Oh my goodness. So where did I leave off? Which
You were just getting
Slide
into the
one,
D. I
dominant.
kind of
just
jumped.
getting into the D?
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Okay, guys, that's okay. Not a problem. Well, thank you, Lord. All right, we're gonna get it. Let's get this. And I need y'all to talk back because my screen gets full and I can't see y'all.
So while Sandra is pulling it up, one of the things that we do is that before I hire anyone now,
Yep.
they have to take the
Yep.
personality profile. And even when we recruit, we have them do the personality profile. So even if they don't stay with us, we kind of give them a plan on some of the prospecting things that they can do. So
All
we
right.
definitely use.
Oh my goodness. All right then. So okay. Okay. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Hello.
Yes, Sandra.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, y'all gotta come on, y'all gotta talk back because like I said, I don't see y'all. Okay, so I'll start over. Not a problem. So yes, so now I'm gonna use Dershan now because I was when I was offline, I was using Martine, but I'm gonna use Dershan. All right. So right now, the D personality. Now, the D personality talks, of course, about the dominance, right? Now, let's say we were going into a listing appointment. So we got the listing appointment, and Dershan already has done her professionalism. She's already identified that the seller and their spouse is supposed to be at the appointment. So now both of them are there, and then we're trying to identify who is who in the relationship. That's the key thing that's happening right there. Identifying who's who in the relationship, because we can have one that is a D and a C, okay, or a D and a S, and being able to spot on identify who these people are is the most powerful thing. And this is where the characteristics of who they are come into place. So now Dershan walks through into the door, and of course they escort Dershan to, like everybody else do, the living room. Can you want to sit right here? And Dershan kindly says, well, is it possible we can sit at the table? And why are we sitting at the table? Because guess what? This is where family meets, right? So we're going to do that. So as we sit down at the table, and they say, oh, sure, not a problem, right? As we're sitting at the table, Dershan goes, excuse me, her job in that is to identify who is the one who's the alpha. That's what you're doing the entire time. The entire time that you're physically there is identifying who's the alpha in the relationship, who's your administrator in the relationship. Okay. Now that's what I'm doing in the process. So as we're sitting at this table, Dershan, okay, is identifying who they are. And let's say that we have that C type personality. That C type personality is sitting there observing Dershan, making sure that, hey, do you have any paperwork for me? Do you have anything additional to share as it pertains to what? Facts. C's are always looking for facts. They're very conscientious about what you're sharing. They want information about what's happening. And if you can provide documentation of that. And then guess what? And then mind you, that C could be the husband or the wife. But then again, fast forward, you got the D personality, where the husband is looking at you and doing what? They're observing you. They want you to get directly to the point. Man, I just had Jeff and Dr. Karen. I had Jeff at 3 o'clock. I had Dr. Karen at 1. Come on, what you got to bring to the table, Dershan? I come on, if you could just hit me with the directness. I want it to be action oriented. I want whatever that you're bringing to the table to bring results. What you gonna do? Why are you gonna price it at that? Can you just come to the point? Get to the point. Get to the point. That's what the D is thinking while you're sitting there. The D is already at the end of the conversation, right? So the D personality, you want to make sure that as an agent, or for those of you who are in different types of business, hopefully it's real estate, but as an agent, when the D, okay, is dominantly there, what are you doing at that time? Please note that you're still observing both of them. You're still being respectful in identifying both people as they're there. But when it comes to the D, you're going to what? Because the D's are going to be they're what's the word I'm looking for? Their aura speaks and it holds weight, right? So when they walk into a room, you know the D showed up. So now the D is going to be the one sitting there with their arms crossed, or looking at you dead in your eyes, or wanting to know exactly, what you bring to the table. They're going to be, sometimes they'll sit up forward. They'll sit with the arms crossed. They'll sit back. Sometimes they sit there with their legs open, because remember, they're the alpha. They're the alpha. They're coming literally to shut everything down. And then here you got the C sitting across too, right? And they're very quiet. They're listening. They're observant, very observant, identifying what's happening in the room, and still being respectful and giving all what? Control to the alpha. Now, when this is happening, what are you supposed to be doing, agent? Eye contact is still going to both of them. Respecting that the C, although they are not as dominant as the D, is still what? They're still there. Because the minute that you act as if that C is not the one, like say, for example, because in a relationship, you can see who's the control, you can see who the alpha. But the minute you take your eye off that C and make it seem like that C is not important, you done shut some stuff down. You done shut yourself from getting a listen. Okay? So now check this out. As you're doing this, you're mimicking which one are you mimicking? You're not mimicking the C. You're being a chameleon to the D, but you're not doing it in a way that is blatantly like you could tell. Okay, you are not doing it where you could tell and you go to folding your arms and you go like once they do it, you do it. No. You're not blatantly doing this stuff. You are literally easing your way into the conversation, easing your way into the same way they're sitting. You're easing your way to the same form that they're giving with their arms. You're easing your way. You understand? To show that, hey, I'm here. I'm respecting you and you're going to respect me. You're asking me questions. I'm going to what? I'm going to respond respectfully. In the same sense of, guess what? I'm still keeping eye communication with the C. I'm letting the C know, yes, I have what? I got my documentations. I got everything to support why I should be the one listing your property. Okay. And the D is not, the D is not afraid to tell you what they like, dislike, and if they didn't like you. Okay, like if you're getting that call back, they are not afraid. Okay, so if anybody has any questions on that one. Now I'm asking because I want to make sure y'all still there now.
We're
Hello.
here.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. All right, so now we got that I personality. Now, let me tell you about this I personality. This is the influencer. All right, key traits. I mean, everybody has this I personality in their house or in their family where they everywhere. They know what's everything's popping, everything is going social media. They're on it. They just want to be where everything is happening. They want to be a part of the clubs, the groups, etc. They are that I personality. They're excited about life. And guess what? If you texting me, I mean, don't like, I'm okay with you calling me, but seriously, if you can just text me, I'm okay with that. You understand my most communication, especially with the new generation, it's like, okay, just text, text, text. And guess what? This is my best form of contact. That I personality, right, is always what? Relationship building. Always just making sure that guess what, things are happening constantly, relationship building and expressing stuff, you understand, and being very into what is happening now. That our personality is going to tell you what's happening on Miami Gardens, that the S&P is that they know the stadium was bought, sold on this date. Oh, that Trick Daddy Sundays restaurant is down the street. Oh, the our personality is going to tell you about the locations, the area. And guess what? In that meeting with the sellers, right? They're going to use that to their best advantage. They're going to use that. And that I personality is amazing as a realtor. But also, there is a downfall to the I. Sandra, what you mean? What's the downfall to the I? If the I is not getting rapid results, they'll shut down. What you mean? If the I is not cold calling, okay? So I know that your coaches teach you that the importance of this business, your backbone of your business is cold calling. That's what they teach. Okay. So now if that I is not constant, not cold calling, and they're not getting exactly what they need, and it's not aggressive enough, and it's not coming fast enough, that's it. I'm done. Oh no, there was no results. There was no results. I didn't get any deals on my first time on the phone. I didn't get this on my first day or second day on the phone. Oh no, I'm shutting that down. That don't work. Oh, that worked for them, but it don't work for me. That's the I. They will literally shut down their own opportunity. Has anybody ever seen that example of that the man hitting the wall and it's like gold on the other side? And then they're right when they're just about to hit gold, they stop. That's the I personality. So the eyes have to be very careful, especially when you identify your personality trait. You got to be careful that it's not also your downfall. Okay. But however, but if staying present, knowing what's happening on the scene, the eyes got that down pat, baby. Yes, they do. They're very good at it and they're definitely informed. Okay. They'll make sure, especially, let's say if we're working with an I personality, what do you do? If you're a D, okay, if you were very D personality and you're working with the I, baby, you better win in that car. Okay, this is what you do. I'm gonna tell you the secret. When you in there, your car, before you meet up with them, you prepare. All right, you go to take your sip, take your drink, and the sip of your water. I'm talking about. You collect your nerves, and then you start your role play. Yes, role plays goes on and off the phones with the eyes. I repeat, the role play goes on and off the phone with the I personality. So when you have an I that is a buyer, once you're in your car, you leave your car, know that you left the D in the car because that I, you cannot be up there like my goodness, that you just dominant, you know everything, you talking, you understand? Or they just can't. They can't deal with the C. I'm telling you, they just can't. It's too much. You're too slow. You too slow. You got like, oh my goodness, I need you to hurry. Like, oh my God. Like, you're not hurrying up. And I know I need, like, just text me. Just text me. Oh my God, just text me. Has anybody met a I personality or worked alongside one or had a buyer or seller like that?
Definitely.
And Jeff, so that was Jeff. So Jeff, so that means that you literally had to turn it off, turn it on, and be like, oh my God, it's so tiring.
I think one of the best things about my traits is being able to identify who you're dealing with right away.
Right away. Right away. And then it gets easier. It gets easier that the minute that you sit down with them, because we're listing gurus right here. That's what this team is about here. This group is about being the listing gurus. So now when you're sitting with that I or that D personality, what did he say? He says identifying them immediately off the bat. A lot of times, can we agree we can identify them on the phone? Today, that's what that example is going to be like. I have a great example for you guys where we're going to go ahead and show you guys how, through communication and me identifying the type of character just on the phone, how I was able to get my offer chosen.
Mm.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. The S. Woo, Lord. A S and a I. Can they coexist? Okay, so the S is what? Steadiness. So now you walk into the house and you're sitting at the table, and that S personality is there. And it's calm, it's very patient, it's loyal and very supportive. And her spouse is a D. Of okay, and the S avoids conflict. So remember, in here, what am I, when I'm first sitting down with somebody, what am I looking for? I'm looking for who's my alpha and my administrator. Sandra, what you mean, alpha and administrator? The administrator is the one who's going to be doing all the paperwork. I'm going to send it to my S. I'm not going to send literally documentation where the lender is going to be sending all the contingencies and stuff like that to the D. The D ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for paperwork. What you mean? No. In the words of my business partner, I'm worth $1,000 an hour. I'm not doing that. Okay. So guess what the S is going to do? The S is my administrator. They're the one that I'm going to connect the lender with to say, this is the person that you literally send everything to. They're the one who's going to be what? On the text call, when you create that group chat, when you're dealing with multiple what? Owners on a property, they're the one who's going to be responsive. They're the one who's going to get all the paperwork in. They're the one who's going to make sure that the loan application gets in. They're the one who's going to make sure appraisal and everything is the appraiser knows this got paid. They're the one who's going to make sure the inspection was done. The S is going to do all of the grunt work. And there is nothing wrong with the S. We appreciate the S's, okay? But guess what? In real estate, it's trust building. The S is going to make, you better make sure. Oh, that S can spot you from a mile away. That guess what? If you that's another one of those that is just like the C personality. In everything, every example I'm giving, whoever is not the D, make sure you respect their personality. Make sure you acknowledge them as that person. Acknowledge them as being there. The minute that you act as if they're not there, the ball done dropped. That's it. They'll shut down the whole thing. They will shut down the entire listing appointment, buyers one. It don't matter what it is. They'll shut it down because what? Oh, they think that you're the boss, that you got everything going on, D. They think that you're the one who's making all the decisions. So talk to him. Talk to her. Since she's making all the decisions. Have you guys ever been in a turmoil listing appointment where they're literally on the verge of divorce, but they're buying a house together? Or they're literally on the verge of divorce and they're literally selling to buy another house together. Okay? It happens. This is why we say that we wear so many hats, guys. And it's true. We have to embrace the hats that we do wear. We are the psychiatrists. We are the quote unquote attorneys. We are the ones who is what? Negotiating and speaking between the two people. What you mean, Sandra? Yes. A lot of times you got to then speak what? Even you will find sometimes in a relationship, they will try to, like if you do the group chat, especially with the personality types, and they have not learned one another, and you got to come into the relationship and help them learn one another indirectly. Guess what? They'll branch off in a group chat and contact you directly one-on-one. Ooh, what? They'll branch off from the group chat you created to speak to you one-on-one about where they want to live, about where they want to go, because the other person don't know nothing. They don't know no better. They just stupid. They never listen. They I don't know what's wrong with them. They will do that. And then guess what? The division comes. And as a division comes, well, who gets stuck in the middle? Who's the one who don't get the sale, or who's the one who don't get to the closing table because of this that they got going on prior to you? This ain't nothing, they ain't got nothing to do with you. But prior to you, because of what they got going on, has poured out onto what? Your current relationship. And yes, you guys are going into a relationship with these people when we go into contract with them. This is our relationship. All of it is relationship. So yes, so again, we're respecting the other party, even when the dominant is there, acknowledging their presence, okay? Keeping them also being very communicative, keeping them connected, and staying within the group chat. The minute that somebody else goes out of that chat, no, you bring them back in. And how do you do it, Sandra? How do I bring them back in when they have contacted me outside the chat? Hey, thank you so much, Jeff. I noticed that you sent me a response asking for this location. You put it back in the group chat. Your responses are always back in the group chat, because then they know they can't try you by bringing division. Oh yeah. You respond back in the chat, so now they cannot tiptoe over what's happening. And guess what? You gave the enemy no play. Woo! I done took y'all to church. You gave them no play to try to bring division, because you got one goal: closing table. That's it. But in the midst of that, what are you doing? You're bringing it back together collectively. All right? All right, awesome. That S is something, boy. You see what it says? It's calm, patient, and loyal and supportive. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. If you work the S the way it needs to, all right, if you work the S the way it needs to be worked, I'm telling you, it's powerful. An S will make sure that you get to the closing table. An S will be the one that's your best friend in the transaction, if you know how to run the play. You got to know how to use your chessboard, because that's all this is, knowing your next move. All right, we got that C. Very conscientious. Oh my goodness. Have we ever met a C that needs to make sure that they know everything that's happening in the transaction? For you, and this is where it's very important, okay? Hear me good. In a transaction, you have that person where, oh, just give me this and I'm good. Just, okay, where do I sign? Okay, that's it. Okay, great. They sign. No. With the C, you're going to make sure at that listing appointment, you're going over, what is this paperwork? This contract? Yes, this is what I'm going to be sending you, or that the other party will be sending you when they submit an offer. You're going to go over that contract. Make sure that you come with a highlighter sometimes to make sure that they understand the contract when it's coming back to them. And in the same breath, this is the same contract that if they are buying, you're going to also see. So we're using this we're using this opportunity, D and C, to go ahead and just kind of share with you where you're going and what's going to be happening to you. They're very analytical, precise, quality focused. Okay, they want to know now if this is happening right here. So talk to me about the homestead. Like, how do I literally just get this calculated? Can I port this? Or can you explain that to me? Should we just get them on the line? Can we contact the property appraisers? Because I want some real numbers. Oh yeah, I need some real numbers. Right? So the C is that person that you want to make sure that, again, paying attention to, making sure that they're present and that you respect their space, okay, as it pertains to where they are in the position that they hold in the transaction. Oh yeah. Respecting their position that they hold in the transaction. Okay, they are another one that is very, just like they have some characteristics of the S, actually, where they're very, very on it. Okay, they can also be your administrator. Okay, they're not going to make no rush decisions for you. No, you better respect that. And if they can feel you pushing them, I always tell our team, I said, people know when you hungry, so please don't be acting like you hungry out here. Don't be acting like you hungry, because people could feel when you hungry. But they are not going to be rushed for nobody. They are not going to be where, this got to get done right now. Oh, if you don't sign, if you don't do this, and no, baby. This is why for a C personality, prep. Their prep work. Okay. That means you're pre-seasoning this chicken. Okay. You're marinating overnight. Okay. And the reason why you're getting up to pre-season this chicken and marinate it overnight for Sunday dinner, okay, is because you don't want them to, when it's time to execute, that they're slow to the party. A little bit of legwork at the beginning with the C will take you far. But that's not important. That's not important. I mean, I didn't think I had to tell you that. So it's a loan disclosure, and your loan officer was supposed to go over that with you. Your loan officer was supposed to do that. Oh, so guess what? What happens in that situation? Oh, they were supposed to do it. So exactly what you were supposed to do? I show you the houses. I make sure I negotiate. No, baby. No. With the C personality, you're involved, they're involved. You're there when they're talking to the loan officer. I'm there when they're talking to a loan officer. And guess what? We're all together understanding this. Now, Sandra, Sandra, I done did these transactions 100 times. I know everything already. I know. But with that personality type, you cannot leave them, because they'll feel like you have literally left them alone and you got the deal and you're gone. They will feel like that was it. That was it. Oh, that's all you was here to do? Oh, wow. Oh, okay. So now they feel like you're disconnected from them. They want you to always be present through the beginning and the end of the transaction. That is your C personality type. Anybody question? All right. All right, so it says identifying the style and observance and behavior and asking guided questions. All right, so now earlier I talked about the D, right? I told you, hey, when you're dealing with the D, you want to make sure that you chameleonize your approach to them, okay? And I told you, I said, please don't be that person who just be like, they sit up, you want to sit up. When they got their hand folded, then you want to just have, no. You ease your way into that, okay? You ease your way that it's not so blatantly what? Visible. All right. Another thing is, if we're talking about the eyes, right? And they're very what? Enthusiastic. They're energetic. They're jumpy. They always on the scene. They got things happening. What do? You do not just, I'm not saying that you're not going to match their energy, but you don't want to do it so much that you look fake. Okay. You don't want to do it so much that you literally look fake. So please be mindful of that. Okay, as well as the S and the C's. You want to just make sure that, hey, when I'm talking to you, I'm going to be direct. I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to share with you all that you need to do in order for you to get to point A and point B. Again, the S and the C are a little bit similar, but not too much where they blend. And again, I don't know if you guys heard that part of it, since we were cut off, was, guess what? A lot of people hold two of the personality traits, and identifying who you are is good. Okay. And we talked about matching the tones and then the building the trust. in their relationships, because guess what? These are relationships that we're going into. Every day we meet new people. Like I said, I love when Jeff said, hey, if you got your spouse on here, if you got your this is not only for your selling of a property. Absolutely not. It's not only for that. It is also for what? That's your everyday life. Everyday life. Okay. All right. So now here's a scenario. Quick sell at a high price. That's the dominance, right? That's what it when you literally sat in that chair with that D, they're like, okay, how much? Remember, I told you, I said they want it now. How much is it gonna be? I need it to be at the highest price ever. Be direct and focused. And what's my ROI? I need my rate on return. Come on. What's that? I need. Come on, let's go. That's how the D's are acting, right? And then what? What's the I? Let's elaborate. The I focuses on community, what's happening around the neighborhood. They're telling you about the Miami Gardens example that I use, right? They're telling you about what's happening right there in Hollywood. They're telling you about what's happening right there in Fort Lauderdale. They're telling you that Messi plays here at this Fort Lauderdale what you call a stadium. They're telling you about all that. All right. And then the S is the steadiness, right? We talked about that. Needing patience and trust with the S. Avoiding pressure points. Ooh, yes. Avoiding pressure points. And then we have the C's, seeking detailed and analytical information, analysis of what's happening. Why am I selling my house at this price? Why do you believe that I need to put it on the market at this price? You better come with facts, paperwork, documentation to support what you're saying. You cannot sit in front of a C and think that just because you said it, that guess what? It's going to be that. No. A C is going to tell you, let's hire an appraiser. I'm okay with that. Oh yeah, I just won't sign right now until I get talk to the appraiser. Yeah. Oh, how much is an appraiser? Oh, not a problem. That's good. That C will hold off from signing stuff if you don't put what? I told you guys, put just a little more what? Put a little bit more attention and care into them at the beginning so you can go far tomorrow at the closing table. Okay? That's what a C does for us. All right. So now I've been waiting for this. Okay, hold on. I don't want to go to it. I've been waiting for this because I wanted to show you guys an example of how I use me understanding my personalities, right? The disc in how I was able to do what? Get the offer. This literally helped me so much in COVID that remember in COVID, what was happening? We had what? 150, 50,000, over $30,000 above asking price. But guess what? At the end of the day, the people who couldn't afford that, they were still trying to buy. What do? We toss them to the side. No. I used what? Relationship and the disc, DISC, to be able to bring me to the front of the line. A lot of the times, not every time, because that money talk, okay? That money talk. But the DISC helped me so much. I promise you. Oh my God. I closed more deals in COVID than my entire career, okay? It was the best thing ever. And guess what? My buyers didn't always have the money to go over. Did not have it. So now the next slide we're going to do is I need you guys to envision a chessboard. You're going to see my chessboard. All right. Before I go on to the next slide, I would like to tell you guys exactly what happened to get me to this. Okay. So of course I have a client. All right. It's a buyer. They were referred to me by the bank and they reached out. The bank said, hey, can you help this buyer? This was last year. Buyer says, that they want a certain, the bank gave them a certain price point. The price point at that time was, kind of, and, but however, they were interested in wanting to own. And a lot of times, what do? Our job is to help the underdog to make sure that they're able to make it and have that dream of being a homeowner. So what happened? Every time, so when we went out, I do what they call a buyer's consultation. I don't leave home without it. If you know me, that's my thing. That's my American Express card. I do not take anybody out without a buyer's consultation. So I did that. Okay. Did the buyer's consultation. That was excellent. We went out, and then she just couldn't. She was like, I don't like any of these. And then guess what? Her personality type did what? Shut it down. She shut it down. And it didn't matter what I said. It just like, no, this is not it. It's just not it. Okay. And her price point didn't allow it to be it, guys. All right. So I followed up. I don't know if y'all heard Zig Ziglar said it's fortune in the follow up. So I followed up, and I had a property that was on the market that was in her price point, right? That I thought. And she said, I called her and I said, hey, and I knew her style. I called her up and said, hey, how you doing? And she said, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And I would periodically, so that was not my first time speaking to her from the last year. I'm gonna say that for the people in the back. That was not my first time speaking to her from last year, even though she didn't buy a house that year. Follow up. Follow up comes in many shapes and forms. Being communicative with the buyer, with the seller. Okay. All right. So now here we go. Followed up from the last time I followed up, and I said, "Girl, there's this property that you need to see." I sent it to her, and while we're on the phone, all this while we're on the phone, she says, "Oh my God, I love it. I love it." I said, "Yeah, I think I could get you a good deal on this one. There's a lot of things happening here, but I can't say much, but I think you got this." Her pre-approval expires, guide. It's expired from last year. All right. She has not been in the game. And fast forward, I dangled the carrot. I dangled the carrot and helped her identify that I was what? Interested, or or it got her interested in wanting to buy again. At first, when I first sat with her, at her current pre-approval rate, she said, I said, well, and during the consultation, I said, what areas you want to live in? Boca, Del Rey. Okay, that was her area. She said, because my daughter goes to school here, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, okay. When we did when we did those things, right? The numbers in the on MLS and pulled it up, zero came up. Zero. Okay. That means we weren't going, my car, my gas was not being, nothing was gonna happen. Okay. Not a mileage, not a gas or anything. So she said, oh, there's nothing here. I said, yeah. And of course you have to educate the client when it comes to these things. Educate them as it pertains to why certain areas don't have certain price points, right? All right. Fast forward, called her, did that, and she, mind you, we're still talking about last year now. We spoke on the phone, and she said, "Oh my goodness, I just wanted to call you and tell you, God said I'm supposed to be in Port St. Lucie." I said, "Wow, that's amazing revelation. Port St. Lucie has your prices." Key word, okay? She said, God said it. Now you got to respect people for where they at in their spiritual life, okay? But at that time, it was going to work in my benefit for my good, okay? So I talked to her and I said, oh, okay. But still in her price range, okay? Port St. Lucie was giving results that weren't still what she liked, right? So now here's me following up. This is the last follow up where we are going to then go on to the next slide. I follow up with her and I told her I have this property I definitely believe fits your criteria. I really, really think that you're going to love it. While on the phone, text it to her. She loves it. Wow, I want to see it. Can we see it on Saturday? Absolutely. Now, one thing I know, because I've been following up, she still has her great credit. She has been saving additional money in the bank, and she was still in position to purchase. Now, did I rush her and go and tell her, well, you got to get qualified again? Get qualified again. No. I didn't do that. She saw it. She loved it. And what did I identify? She brought all her kids. She's a single mother of 3 children. Okay. Single mother of 3 children. And when doing so, guys, guess what? She always brought her kids when we were, what you call it, showing. So I knew that what, and this is observing. Come on, this we still on the disc. This is observing your client. This is identifying, okay, who is the key players in the transaction. And for us, the key players were the kids. So every time we went out, we had to bring the kids. And she was okay with that because they were a part of the decision making. All right. So now we do, right? We go out there. She loves the house, but guess what? The taxes were a bit too high for her, so she couldn't qualify for it. How do you know this, Sandra? Because she told me to put an offer on the house. So immediately, what did she do? She did the same thing she did the following year. She did what? Shut down. Dang. So now, could I find myself in the same situation and having to wait another year? Or if I use my disc personality to identify who I'm working with. So immediately I identified that, guess what? I could not approach her with Sandra talking. I sent the lender. I said, hey, she's used to me talking to her. She's used to me knowing me. I need you to approach her and let her know that, hey, just because this one wasn't it, there is another avenue in which you can go. There are other homes that will fit your criteria, and encourage her for me in that way. The lender did just that. By the time I think by the time, and I didn't go in immediately after the lender called her. The day after, I followed up with her. I said, hey, I heard that you talked to, the lender, Mr. Watermelon. They were like, yeah. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. You heard the excitement in her voice that there was still an opportunity for her to go. Okay. So now fast forward, she sent me, listen to this, guys. She sent me 12 properties to go view. Okay. When I scheduled all of them, and only, I believe, 9 of them were available. Now, immediately before I went out, I already did what? Because I identified the characteristic that I was dealing with, what didn't I do? I did not just go set us up to go out there and just be driving around wasting time, because I know that she will do what? Shut down. So what did I do? I sent the same 12 properties that she was interested to the lender after I sifted it. What? After I sifted it, identify which ones had high taxes, high HOAs. I did the process of elimination. I then did what? Sent the ones that were remaining to the lender. When sending it to the lender, guys, what happened? The lender sifted it and said, okay, yeah, this is good, blah, blah, blah. From 12 properties, we sent the lender 9, and from 9, we only saw 3 that day. Originally, she asked me, Sandra, how many we're going to see? How many we're going to see? And I said, well, my goal is to see all of them the same day. And she said, ooh, can we split them up? Now, you know that is the worst thing you could say to a realtor. I want to go this day, and then next week, this is what she said, next week, I want to go to see the other ones. I called her up. I didn't even respond to the text. I called her up and I said, hey, lady. I said, I saw your text, and I just wanted to let you know I've been doing it for, quite some time. We specialize in knowing how to maneuver through multiple listings if we're seeing them. So you don't have to worry about mixing them or getting all of them mixed up in your head. Don't worry about that. We actually have a tracker that we have buyers that helps buyers during the showing, to help them, make a sound decision on their house. She said, oh, okay, good. I'm so excited. This is the most excited I have ever seen this woman, because what? The DISC paid attention and listened to the buyer. Fast forward, now we're down to the 3. She asks again, how many are we going to see the night before? I completely ignored her. Sandra, the client sent you a text. Why would you ignore her? I completely ignored her. Why? Because of I know the personality. If I would have told her there was three houses, she would have found a reason not to come. She would have found a reason not to be present. How do you know that, Sandra? Because let me tell you how. That very morning, I called her. I say, hey guys, we're getting ready to go on the road. Remember, we're supposed to be at that property at 10 a.m. Please note that I have already texted her the address and confirmed the time with her in the text. After she texts me, how many we gonna see that I ignored, okay? And I went straight to bed. She then, okay, she then said, so we got there, and mind you, that same morning when I called her and said, hey, you guys on the road, I'll see you soon. She said, I'm getting on the road right now. I said, well, we supposed to be already be there. We supposed to be there at 10 o'clock. How you getting on right now? I know where you live. You live in Boca. How you getting on the road right now? Oh, I had asked you a question. I didn't see the response, so I thought we weren't going no more. I said, okay, well, okay, I thank God, thank goodness you're getting in the car. I'll see you there. I said, no, we're good. We're all good. We got you. We got some showings for today. Bam. So now we're going to move on to the next slide. Any questions so far? Y'all still with me? I got to make sure.
Yes, we are.
Okay, awesome. No questions right now?
No, but it's hilarious, but so true.
I'm telling you. All right, so here we go, guys. Now you're going to come literally into this chess game that I played with my realtor, the other opponent. Okay, this is the selling agent. You're going to come into this chess game, and please try to follow along. I know I put the chats, I put all the text right here for you. Okay, but I want you guys at the end to tell me which personality type do you believe that she was? So now we're talking about actionable strategies for real estate agents. Okay, we talked about the disc. So let's go straight to the text message. Remember we saw three houses. Okay, as we saw the three houses, they decided on this specific house. It says, I said, good morning. The monthly HOA is $32.50. And she said, yeah, and 390 annually, incredibly low, right? This is the agent, okay, texting this and giving me information. I said, awesome. And she says, I know. No one believes it. It's a little hidden treasure community. Sure hope your buyer loves it. Okay, this is her. This is when I sent the request to view the property. That was the first text that she gave because she was doing what? She was boasting and highlighting her HOA because we y'all know it's hard to find an HOA that's annual and especially at that price. Come on now. So I said, so of course I shared about the doors and stuff like that. So, but let's go to the meat of it all. It says, I asked a question. This is where it got real good. I asked a question about the ACs and the water heaters, right? Because on the MLS, and she wasn't available at the time prior to the showing to tell me about it, right? Because she had an open house to do. She says, I believe it's about 10 years old and the water heater is newer, like the roof. She says, I'm sorry, I'm with folks at the open house. I can double check and get back to you shortly. And I said, and she says, apologies. I don't have my notes with me. I'll definitely get back to you with an answer later. Any thoughts on the feedback? Okay. Now, during this time, I had already called her because at this time, after three houses, we had already shown. And as we've already shown the houses, when I'm in the car, I get in the car and I call the agent and says, hey, my client is real interested in this one. And I would really like to see how we can be the one to grab this one off, take it off your hands. All right. So then she was definitely in total agreement with it. Right. And I told her straight up, I said, we're going to be submitting an offer and it's going to be this number. And that's where we're at. And she then, and I do this so I can identify how low or how high I can go. So when I'm calling and talking to the agent, I ask the question of, hey, I'm submitting an offer. Just as an example, I'm submitting an offer at $380,000. and the price is 400, okay? If I hear, and this is what you have to do, guys, you're listening for you're listening for all that. All those things are important in a transaction because those things are what's going to help you gauge if that's the offer you're going to put. So I told her, I said, I'm going to be putting a full price offer on this, but I will be asking for 6% seller concession because we noticed that the property, you know, is dated. It's definitely livable. It's dated, and it's gonna need some work. Now check this out. I say that to do what? Identify if I'm gonna get that or if that's a problem. I also claim that it's dated. It's not, I mean, it was dated, but goodness, it wasn't that bad. But guess what? When we're speaking to that other person, you want to make sure that you change your tone, especially when you're listening, okay, and you're speaking on that. If she then agrees with me, woo, what do I got? I got a slam dunk. Because now, if I called it dated and she says, yeah, we know, I've shared that with the owner before, that means that guess what? I know that this person has already dropped some nuggets in the owner's ears to tell them what? That this property, you know, is dated. So during their listing, you can literally be at their listing appointment without you physically being at their listing appointment, guys. So now you do that. Check this out. You do that, and she repeats to you, yes, I've shared this information with them. Yes, we know. So guess what? That means that that agent has literally already implanted in their ear that they're going to have to give her credit. That agent has already told them that the property is not as up to date as everyone else on the block. That agent has already told them certain what? Conditions of the property that's going to need to be addressed. Come on, y'all. That's why I said identifying and speaking to these people is very important. So check this out. So right now I haven't moved. I haven't moved on the chessboard yet. Okay. She says, I told her I sent you the FHA rider that was missing. Let me see. Okay. So yes, this is how the conversation went. And then I submitted the offer. Okay. And she says, great, thank you. And I told her I submitted the FHA offer that was missing on the original email. Okay. All right. So check this out. Immediately on the phone, right? Prior to this, when I was on the phone and I told her what we were going to send, I complimented her. I ain't never met that lady a day in my life. But I had to identify which of the DIC she was. I said, you know, I haven't met you yet, but definitely it seems like you are a great agent, pretty seasoned. And I always tell my buyers that if I'm dealing, I said the best part of the battle is when you're dealing with a great agent on the other side. And from our conversations, I believe that that's who you are. Oh my goodness, guys, she ate it up. She ate it up. I'm building relationship. She ate that thing up. She was like, oh my goodness, thank you so very much. Oh my goodness, I can tell that you've been doing this for quite some time too. And I'm just so excited. And then she started talking. That's when she started releasing all the good information that I need. Okay. And this is where you have to be watchful and listening. Okay. So then she started releasing some information for me, and I'm gathering. All right. So then I told her, I said, look, I really think my buyers, I know that my buyers would be a perfect match for this property. They meet them. I don't know if you've spoken to my lender yet, but they meet this criteria, this, but blah, 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 blah. And I'm laying it out. I'm selling my buyer. Okay. Now, check this out. The compliment was given. I felt how her energy, she was just so, oh my God, overwhelmingly just embracing that, right? Come on, remember at the end of this, you're supposed to tell me what personality she is. Then early that morning, you see that 7:25. Now here's where I start moving my piece on the chessboard. Now, let me tell you something. In reality, I had already moved one piece. I befriended the agent. Remember this. Build relationships. These people leave. I'm talking buyers and sellers. Okay. Who's in the game with you? Your peers. Your peers are in the game with you. Remember that. There are many relationships that has transpired because of your peers. They connect you with other people. This is serious. All right, so now come on here. 725, I already got her working for me. She's the selling agent. I already got her working for me because of what? A compliment. One compliment that was given to her that took her over the moon. Look at that. That was Mother's Day. Says, good morning. Excuse me. She's like, good morning, no updates. Happy Mother's Day. And I said, what? Happy Mother's Day. Okay, so hold on. There we go. It's bigger. Oops. Okay. Oh, sorry. Oops. Oh, Jesus, Lord. Okay, there we go. Okay. I said, good morning. I put Happy Mother's Day. Right? And I asked for updates. She says, good morning. I had a long talk with the decision maker yesterday about the reality of our market and our particular situation. She was originally taken aback and very upset about the offer, but she hadn't even considered countering. Here we go. Next slide. She just said absolutely not at first. Then after listening and understanding a lot more than she wanted to see or believe before, she seemed to what? Come around. Now we just have to convince the other 3 siblings and their spouses. It's quite an ordeal. Unfortunately, I don't think we'll have an answer until this evening. They want to wait until the open house is over to see if we can get anything else. But between you and me, I've had 2 other open houses and everyone said exactly the same thing. Received 1 verbal offer and close to the same number line yours would be. But they didn't follow through because they felt even at that they were paying too much for all the work they've already put in. Sorry for the long novel. Just wanted to you to understand I'm truly working on this, and I believe and hope that you may start coming that they may start coming around after the open house. All right. So now guess what? Remember I told you she began talking. That piece keep moving. I'm moving across the board, guys. So right, that piece keeps moving. So now I text back. No, she texts back. Happy Mother's Day thing. Thank you. And she says, promise to keep you updated on everything. During this text, you're going to see me update less and less and less. Or you're going to see me text less and less and less because I moved the piece and identified my character so well that now instead of me working for the for the listing agent, because remember, if you're not listing, you're working for the other person. So instead of me working for them, she began the roles. You will find that the roles will now change, guys. The roles will change. I said, thank you for the detailed update. Let me know how the open house goes. Let me move this out the way. And where we stand so we can get the house. Thank you. She said, definitely will do. Okay, so now I said, look at this. I went back and I complimented her again. I said, I told you, I felt in my bones that you were a rock star agent, and that's all I need. Now understand this, very important. The way that I'm responding is not the way that I'm thinking. I know that I'm playing the game of chess and I need to what? Hit a checkmate. There's no way that I had to be precise in that text that I don't say that's all I need on my side. Although she would be working on, she's working for me all day. And you're going to begin to see that. But I needed to make sure that she understood that she was in control. Now you went and look what she said. Now you went and did it. You got me all teared up. Abundant thanks and appreciation for your genuine kind words. Guys, tell me I'm not playing this game. Oh my goodness. So check this. Again, Sunday 308. Here's another update. She slammed me with another update. Heading to Mother's Day dinner, but just wanted to let you know there were 2 attendees at the open house. Someone from the neighborhood just wanted to see the house, and one lady from Fort Lauderdale who said it didn't fit her needs, but she could tell it was lovely, lovingly maintained. I gave the sellers the update and asked if they had considered entertaining a counter offer amount to please let me know. As soon as I hear anything, I'll get back to you. Thank you. You see how she continues to write me novels. She continues to work for me. Let me explain something to you. In this position, on the board where I'm at, you have to understand. Now you're going to see me plug in and plant things in her in order for her to do what? She's going to be my spokesperson indirectly to the seller. I repeat, she's going to be speaking for me. I'm going to be working vicariously through her to the seller. Check this out. Thank you. I appreciate everything. Bam. Check this out. They just got back to me. This is now, remember the last update was 308. This is Sunday. She's at dinner. I'm at dinner. They just got back to me via text with a starting counter offer at 2% concession. They want me to send them what they're ending up with. I will also send them the total differences with 6% concessions, which I believe will only come to $3,000 less for each sibling. But I need to double check. We are still at the Mother's Day dinner because we lost an aunt and a niece this year. So it's kind of special and emotional, but I'm working on it. I just need a little time to head home and do the figures. If it's at all possible to get a pre-settlement statement drafted from the first thing in the morning at 6% concession and 2% concession, then I could do the math. I can do the math with their breakdown. And I text her, do you want me to counter via text? Hello? No, you never. I personally would never counter via text, right? It's because the way she said it, right? But check this out. Listen to what she said. Now let's dissect this paragraph that she just wrote. They just got back to me via text with a starting counter offer. So that means I'm literally in their conversation, am I not? That means that that's not their counter. I can go higher. I can literally move higher. She then says, I'm at dinner with my family and this happened to me. So remember, I told you I was at dinner too. I was at dinner with my family on Mother's Day, and then I had them, then she was at dinner. They were targeting another reason why they were at dinner, 2 deaths in the family and stuff like that. This is where I didn't move. I didn't, like on the chessboard, I didn't move so well that day because I'm focused on what's happening around me. I wasn't in the game. So I moved on the chessboard a different kind of way. How so, Sandra? Immediately, I only did what? Did you want me to counter via text? Because that's when the D came out. The D came out of me, y'all. I forgot all about my move. I forgot all about my move, y'all. And then I went back and I read it. I said, ooh, dang, I missed it. So guess what? You're going to see me what? You're going to see me later on bringing back life to it. Okay? Because I remember I'm playing a game. I need my offer signed. I need my stuff. Okay? So here we go. We can chat now if you want or have time. I just wanted to get you the information as soon as I received it. And I couldn't. I couldn't at the time. So I text everything. Sorry for the fluffery of information. So guess what? What did she notice? In the conversation, she automatically noticed that I didn't acknowledge the niece. I didn't acknowledge the aunt, guys. I was too busy worried about my family, the Mother's Day, enjoying my family. You understand? So I needed to what? I needed to what's the word I'm looking for? I needed to oh God, y'all know the word. Y'all know the word. I needed to get back in the game with her emotionally. So what did I do? I said, laugh out, no problem. And I said, thank you for your prompt response. Please know our goal isn't to insult the seller. Okay? The buyer notice, mind you, hold on, before I continue this, on the middle, we're in the middle right now. I didn't notice that I did that until I read it after the fact. And then you guys gonna see me redeem myself. That's the word, redeem. So look, I'm still on the ground. My D done hit. My D done hit, right? And I'm in the midst of this party. My D done hit. I said, thank you for your prompt response. Please know our goal isn't to insult the seller at all. The buyer noticed that the home is dated and needs upgrades, and also the AC is older, and I will need to, and it will need to be changed possibly immediately upon moving in. The funds are going towards targeting some of the big ticket items. The AC alone ranges between $7,000 to $8,000. If the seller would be so kind as to see it from my buyer's point of view, please share with them that this is a single mom of three and her co-borrowers being her daughter, even after showing the brand new construction home lower than your cost. It was the warmth of the home and the love felt in the air that drew them to this house. So respectfully, we're asking if they would consider a counter offer of 4% to make their dreams a reality. Now, let me explain to you why I wrote this, because I just told you guys, no, we don't write counter offers, right? I picked up the phone but prior to this text, I picked up the phone and I spoke to her. And in that conversation, she shared with me this. So I've told them totally that right now, the real estate market here in South Florida, especially in Port, not South Florida, excuse me, in Port St. Lucie, there's like a new construction every day. And then I also educated them as what's happening here. And she kept going. And I said, well, and listen to what I said next. I said, well, have you considered, I know you've been doing this for quite some time. Have you considered just doing another comp for them, or doing like a CMA where they can be able to identify, what's going on in the area? I know that the property's been sitting for a while. I did not use indirect words to prompt that she did not do this. The way that I said it initiated for her to do it again, as if she's already done it. Come on, remember the DISC. I initiated for her to go and do it again. I said, thank you so much. So then now we hung up the phone, and of course she's like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try that again. And I said, yeah, but for them to be able to see what's currently present on the market. It's been so long since you did your listing appointment. Okay. So now check this out. I then told her, I'm going to respond via text that you can copy and paste this and send it to the group chat. Sandra, how you know the lady got a dang on group chat? Because my goodness, if you have a group of siblings that you already shared with me, your brain, come on, you got to know how to move the chess piece. Your brain should be telling you that, man, these people probably got a dang on group chat that they're communicating with. But she remember in the previous text, she said, I talked to the decision maker. That means that's the only person she's talking to outside of what? Off the group chat. Come on, y'all. Pay attention. So come on. So we got, thank you so much. Okay. She said, thank you so much. Have forwarded and told her I'm working on a seller net sheet now. So now here we go. Good morning. She initiates the conversation again. Good morning. I sent the seller market reports. Over 3,300 homes for sale in Port St. Lucie. 67 new listings came on just today alone. 125 similar sizes, CBS properties under 165,000. Asking them to please update me their thoughts as soon as they came to a decision, so we can share with you, as we are out of the acceptance deadline. But you and I agreed to extend it. You see that? She began to work on my behalf. She began to fight for me. So literally
Knock, knock,
building this.
knock.
Go ahead.
It's the clock. It's the clock. It's the
Oh,
clock.
sorry.
It,
Okay,
it's
okay.
it's good. It's great, but it's the clock.
All right, all right, all right. I promise you we coming to an end. Oh God. All right. So check this out. She began to fight for me. So, but look what I did. Remember, I told you I had already identified where I dropped the ball. I was focused on so much with my family. What I said, great morning. I want to acknowledge the loss of your loved ones. I can't imagine how much emotions was in the air yesterday at your family dinner. I pray for strength and for perseverance for you and for all. I too have lost an aunt, and it's impacted me more than I thought it would. It's crazy how even when we don't see each other every day or even talk often, how people's presence surely means more than what we think. I'm a true believer that when God places us in families, it's strategic, never accidental. Everyone had their purpose. I want to share before I talk business, is what I said. Okay, I said I wanted to share that before I talk business and extended that. But at the same time, putting pressure on them to think differently. Okay, so this is what I was saying to them. I was telling her that, hey, yes, I know we are extending, but at the same time, putting pressure on them so that they know that we're still doing what we have to do. All right. And I said, P.S. You're rubbing off on me with these textbook texts, LOL. So what did I do? I had to redeem myself to bring me back. Okay. And in the text, you'll begin to see where it says, good morning. Thank you very much for your kind words and genuine sentiments. It was quite a challenge, but gratefully was very busy, which kept my mind off of things in general. I, like you, believe God has a plan and he knows my monkey mind. I struggled greatly all morning before things got busy, and it was very helpful later in the day. Then we are all able to enjoy one another and share memories and pictures. Again, very kind and thoughtful of you. Appreciate your genuine heart very much. On the next note, professionalism, dedication to your craft and buyers is quite refreshing, and usually these days sad but true. You have a, what is she saying? Okay. You have a, I don't know which, I'm getting lost in Dr. Karen and putting some pressure on me, but very kind, thoughtful words. Appreciate your genuine heart. Okay. On the next note, okay, we're here. You've been a pleasure to work with. Oh no, not to mention your organizational skills are on point. I'm heading to a 9 a.m. meeting. Afterwards, I will immediately, y'all see how she working for me? I will immediately call the sellers for the update and keep you posted. And look at that, 10:03. That's Monday. Remember, all this conversation happened on Sunday. Here it is, Monday. The seller said all looks good to her, but they are just wanting to hear back from the title company, because she asked me if I can contact the title company to run the sheet to see how much it would be. Because remember, my contract 4%, and then they said yes. They said yes. I'm going to cut it short, okay, to respect the times. But guess what? She fought for me indirectly. And as I moved across this chessboard, was able to what? She was able to work for me. I didn't have to be in the room. I used what I knew about her personality. Okay. I used what I knew about her personality in order for me to maneuver across the board to get to what I needed, which was the offer. The offer. Okay. So I'll move on. In conclusion, mastering your disc for real estate success is imperative. Guys, I know that this is not an art that is overnight. This is something that you want to take time and focus on. You want to make sure that you are present at all times, especially when you're dealing with clients. You focus on insight. You want to focus on not labels for sure. Practice regularly. Refine your skills. And we always say, just get your tools in order. You understand? Sharpen up your tool belt. coming to these events and plugging in with these great leaders right here, this is what's going to bring you to the next levels in your business, because you can plateau in your business, right? But the reason why you connect and you go to these conventions and you go into these things is because you need a refueling. Okay, so it says unlock the potential, achieve greater success in real estate when you do this, because guess what, now you've identified the characters. Guys, if you have any questions, clarity, hello, questions. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jeff and Dr. Karen, for having me. Hopefully, I know I cut down the time, but anyways, it was great. It was a pleasure being on board with you guys today.
Thank you for the tips, Sandra.
Wait. Any questions about the dispersonality, identifying the D, the I, the S, the C, the dual personalities, which we heard about earlier today, and understanding also to not minus or subtract or do not pay attention to the spouse. You know, one things I love doing when I go on presentations is always sit in the center. So it is the dining room table, but it's in the center where you're able to see both of the people. Okay. So you always want to make sure they sit on one side, especially if you guys are going on appointments with partners. You sit on one side, they sit on another side, so that you guys are able to connect. If you guys need to connect, if you need to write them a little note, if you need to look at them, you need to, and then you're able to see them, but also you're able to actually see them to see who's paying attention, who's looking for documentation, who's from just their posture as well. You are able to tell who is that D personality, who is more assertive, who's more interested in what's going on, who needs to know what's going on, and ladies and gentlemen, if there's any guys in the room, yes, Joe, once you start to focus on this, rather be on the phones, rather be with showing properties, rather be at the listing appointment, once you start to focus on this, so now you got to go back to school again, you got to go back in training mode again, you will start to close more transactions. Okay, why do I not convert people over the phone? Because I don't know when to speak, I don't know when to fast pace my conversation, I don't know when to slow down, and I don't know when to be quiet. Once I'm able to identify those four, you can get on the phone and you can have a temperament. But once you're able to identify you're dealing with the C, you're dealing with the S, you now understand that you need to slow it down. Okay. If you're dealing with the D, you need to shut your mouth up. You understand? Once you start to understand that, you'll be able to secure more appointments. And remember this also, once you're able to identify that from the phone, you're now able to carry that into the appointment. So if I'm on the phone with someone, they're a high D personality, they're rushing me off the phone. They say, yeah, we'll talk about everything when we meet. I'm not gonna be, oh, I got my pre-qual questions here, I need to get these done. No, I need to do that another time. Okay. And then now when I walk into the home, if they want to walk me through the home and they want to go to the kitchen first instead of the driveway, they want to show me their brand new pool instead of showing me the AC, I gotta go ahead and I gotta navigate at their posture. I gotta navigate at the direction that they're moving at. Okay. And then also, this lets you know, who do I need to follow up with? Some sellers, they don't really care if you call them every single day. Some sellers, they want to know every single thing. You placed the property on the MLS, great. You put it on Zillow, great. Did you put it on Trulia? Yes, I did. Did you put it on Redfin? Yes, I did. Okay, keep this in mind as you guys are going through the rest of the week. Today's Tuesday. We got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We got money making Saturday and Sunday. Watch people as they navigate through the day and just be like, wow, you're an I. Wow, you're a C. Wow, you're a S. And sooner or later, you'll have it down pat. Okay, you'll have it down pat. And it also gives you an opportunity to reassess yourself as well. Can you change? I'm a S, I'm a C. Can I change into a D or an I? Can I do that? Yeah, it's going to take you some work. It's going to take you reprogramming yourself, reprogramming your brain, but it's obtainable. It can happen. So 8:50, it's late at night. It's late at night. I want to go ahead and leave you guys here to really take the information, utilize it, and we'll catch you guys back tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock for our role play. Take care, you all.